All right, YouTube, welcome back to another video. So today we're going to take a look at the Tab S6 Lite, the 2022 version, which just had an updated processor to the Snapdragon 720G, I want to say. So we're taking a look at this device today to see if it's something that's still worth picking up here in 2023. I haven't heard many rumors about a newer version coming out. So let's talk about it. So I'll kind of mix in pros and cons as we go. I won't do my typical thing where I'll do one or the other. So first thing we really want to consider with this device is the price. So I know Best Buy has these 2022 versions. I'm not sure if you can pick them up anywhere else, maybe Amazon or eBay. But if you can get this thing, retail is $349 for the 64 gig version, which is the one I would recommend if you're thinking about picking one up because it does have expandable storage. So under 300 bucks, I would say closer to the 200, 250 range. If you can find this device with the S Pen, I think it is a really good pickup. I was able to secure this one from Best Buy, open box. It came with the charging cable and the adapter, as well as the S Pen. And I would recommend, if you're seriously considering this device, to go ahead and stop by a Best Buy, ask them to open it up if it is an open box, so to have them break the seal just to see what goodies are inside, because sometimes the S Pen is not included. So as long as you can get it with the S Pen, it's a pretty good pickup. Now, some of the things that I really like about this tablet, first of all, the screen is a decent screen, especially for this price point. So it is a TFT LCD, so it's not like they're really high end like the S8 tablet that gives you a really good screen. But as I've said in past videos, the Tab S6, the original, is probably one of my favorites because it was an AMOLED display. So you did get the deeper blacks. So this one, you won't get that nice crisp display that you would get on the original Tab S6, but for the price point, it's still a pretty good pickup if you can get it, like I said, for less than 300 bucks. So I do like the speaker placement. So you have a speaker on either side. So you do get stereo speakers, and they're in a good spot where you're not really covering them up. If you watch previous videos, I kind of complain about the Lenovo Duet 3, which is a really good Chromebook tablet, but the speaker placement was almost like right here in the middle, and very easy to cover up those speakers that weren't the best quality to begin with. So speakers are pretty good on this device. The screen does have some pretty good viewing angles, as you can see, even though it's not an AMOLED display. So for that price point, you're still getting a pretty good screen. It is only 60 hertz. I know we are living in a time where 120 hertz is kind of like on every device coming out now. So if you can live with that, you know, it's still pretty good 60 hertz display. Now, this is one of my favorite things, and you guys may think it's underrated, but being able to swipe over and have your Google feed here is huge for me. So once you get used to having that, you don't want to go back from that. So that is an advantage of having this one over the older Tab S6, because the Tab S6 never did get that update. I think it still shows the Samsung Free or whatever it was called, but this one does have the Google feed here, so nothing to worry about there. So you do get the Google feed. You do get other goodies, like the taskbar is now on this device. You also get Dex, which a lot of people kind of take for granted. I think it's a pretty good option if you want to get some productivity done. And you can go into Dex. I don't believe it's wireless Dex, but because there is no USB-C output here, so I haven't had any success of plugging it into an external monitor and having it display, but you do get Dex right here on the tablet itself. So that means you can actually pair up a keyboard and mouse and try to get some things done right from your tablet. So it is very portable. I want to say it's a 10.4 inch display. Touch input is not always the best, so it is good to have this S Pen here to help you kind of navigate the system, especially when you're doing some gaming. I have found that the touch input isn't the greatest, but you have your S Pen there to kind of help you out. Speaking of gaming, I did my normal testing with this device. As we can see, it's not really, that's gonna be my next gripe, which is Biometrics is not the best on here. So even though it gives you the face unlock, let me just get this thing back. You get the face unlock option, it does not really work that great in my experience. You guys can comment below if you've had a better experience, but I really wish they would have included some sort of fingerprint reader, but they didn't. So you're kind of reliant on the password or swipe gesture, but I have found that using the face unlock is definitely not that great of an experience, at least in my opinion. So once you get past the biometrics, which is a real bummer on this tablet, it is still pretty snappy for the most part. But like I was saying, I did some of my gaming on here with DH5 and NBA 2K20. It does play both of those games fairly well. I did discover when playing DH5, it did have some stuttering depending on how much action was going on the screen at once. So keep that in mind. It is not meant to carry the load for gaming. So if you're thinking about doing like Genshin Impact or something, just look elsewhere. Don't try to put that on this tablet. I don't think it's going to pull it off. If you need that kind of power, I would say go with like the Tab S8 or S8 Ultra. But yeah, so the price point, great speakers, a really decent screen. You do get the S Pen experience. It is not a Bluetooth S Pen, but it does give you some functionality where you can go in and do some quick things, like using the button here. You can do the double tap and just kind of utilize the S Pen. It is a pretty good writing experience. You guys know I'm not an artist, so I never try to draw anything. Well, maybe I'll draw like a little stick guy. This will be my best drawing ever right there, the stick guy. So I know we're in 2023. This thing, I would say, is worth it. Like I said, if you can get it for less than 300 bucks, just to have a note-taking device, S Pen included. You won't get that on an iPad. The newer iPads, I know they can use the first gen Apple Pencil, but you know, that's an additional cost. So the overall package of this thing is really good. Accessories, I will say, I think Samsung bumped their head for selling the case for this thing for like 70 bucks. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. So make sure you guys go on Amazon or eBay to pick yourself up a case to be able to stand this thing up. There is no official keyboard case that I know of because there is no pogo pins or anything like that for the device. But outside of that, you should be able to pair up a Bluetooth keyboard. I'm sure you can find those things on Amazon as well. So hit me up in the comments. You guys let me know what you think about this tablet. I think it's a pretty good pickup, especially for the price point. I wouldn't recommend going with anything with lesser power. I know they have like a A7 Lite or A8 or A8 Lite. They make so many of these things, but I would say this Tab S6 Lite would be the one to go with for that price point. All right, until the next one, peace.